Welcome back. All right, first of 4 reviews for today, Winnipeg and St. Louis. And I want to say before I start this, I realized about halfway through this game what it's reminding me of, what the deja vu is watching this series. It's Boston, Vancouver 2011. It's what we're watching here. It is very, very similar. So Hellebuck versus Binnington in this one. Early near miss for Walker. Things are pushy then on a hold by Hellebuck. Morrissey has a shot that's held as the Jets press. There's a power play for the Blues. Early cycle. The fans call for a 5-on-3 power play. The referee does not listen to that. Snuggerud has a one-timer that's held. Back-to-back clears. Blues then go offside on their power play. That's killed off. The Blues press at 4.5 minutes. The shots are 3-2 in favor of the home team. 5 minutes into the period. Things get pushy on a hold by Binnington. The Jets cycle at 6.5 minutes. Pionk fires one wide. Connor can't bury one from in close. We get a power play then for Winnipeg. They cycle. Net feed to Scheifele. Near miss there. Things get pushy then on a hold by Binnington because that's what happened a lot in this game. These teams do not like each other. 2011, yep, Boston, Vancouver, they had that. There's a shorthanded rush by Sundqvist. The fans call one, the referee does not, so the referee is informed that in terms of whether or not he sucks, he's more in the he does than he doesn't category. So after that, Pionk has a shot that's held as the power play comes to an end. 5 shots for the Jets on their power play, and then they go back to the power play. So this is really the Jets' opportunity here, isn't it? They cycle. Morrissey has a shot that's blocked and cleared. Power play was killed off relatively easily. The first power play had a lot of good chances. The second did not. So things get scrummy on a hold by Binnington after because that's how this game rolls. Shots are 11-3 for Winnipeg with 8 minutes left. They're playing well, but they don't have a lead, and that's the thing. You have to get that puck in the net. Jets press with 6.5 minutes left. Scheifele to Connor near miss. And then at 13:58, Connor backhands one in from the doorstep. That is assisted by Perfetti and Sandberg. So the Jets have a large lead in shots, and now they got the lead on the scoreboard. Blues press with 3.5 minutes left, but they can't get to the net. In fact, the Jets are forced to ice it. Braden Schen's then denied. Hellebuck holds, so they can get a line change. So crisis averted. However, at 19:35, it's a point shot past a screen, and Neighbors bats it out of the air into the net. So at 19:35, this game's tied at 1. The assists on the goal to Parayko and Fowler. So that's your score after 1. We go to the second period. Early jump for St. Louis, and it felt like that momentum swing was big, right? So, Jets press at 1.5 minutes, but the only shot on net belongs to St. Louis 3 minutes in. Nemesnikov's denied on a rush. Perfetti then has a shot that's caught and held. The teams trade rushes. The Jets press at 6 minutes. Pionk has a one-timer that's blocked. Perfetti then has a rush chance that's held. There's a press by Winnipeg at 8.5 minutes. To this point, it still looks like a pretty good road game for the Winnipeg Jets. Parayko with a near miss on a net drive. Leddy has a net feed that's picked off. And then at 10:46, Tucker tips in a point shot. Leddy and Texier with the assist at 10:46. I think it was tipped in. Either way, it's Tucker. No, Tucker was the one blasting it from the point. Leddy and Texier with the assists. Right. So that was a point shot as they press. And suddenly St. Louis has their lead at 2-1, their first lead of the game. Neighbors nearly adds another. Perfetti's then denied from the slot. Kyrou has a rush chance that's held. The Blues press are kept to the outside. Toropchenko has a rush chance that's held. And then it's crossbar and out for Mason Appleton. Not much luck for Appleton on that one. Broberg has a screenshot that's held. The dislike is ramping up, and the Blues go to a power play. So there's an early clear. They then set up. They cycle. The Jets clear the puck yet again. But Buchnevich has a net feed that's picked off. The power play's killed. However, shortly after, at 17:22, Braden Schenn scores his first of the playoffs, the assist to Parayko and Neighbors. So now it's 3-1. The Jets would then look to respond. However, at 18:54, Falk puts one in off Pionk. So that makes it 4-1. The assist to Neighbors and Schenn. So Braden Schenn with a goal and an assist over a period of 1 minute and 22 seconds. And I put right there, Jets are done for today. I knew the Jets were not coming back from 4-1 down in St. Louis with 20 minutes left. The Blues would actually look for another before the period's out. So a lot of momentum in favor of the St. Louis Blues. They're up 4-1. We go to the third period. Morrissey has a shot that's blocked as the Jets press early, but then at 2 minutes, DeMello tips one into his own net. Thomas is granted the goal, the assist to Sundqvist and Buchnevich. So Sundqvist's first point of the playoffs, I do believe, And Thomas had a pretty good game, so he's rewarded with a goal. That makes it 5-1. The question I then had was, so are we going no mercy again? We had a no mercy game the last time out. And the fact that DeMelo tips it in, of course, that doesn't help Hellebuck, who's already having a rough game. And so Eric Comrie comes into the game. And we'll see what happens when we get to Game 6 in this series, right? So, Barron has a net drive chance. That's held. The Blues press at 3.5 minutes. The shots are 3-1 Winnipeg, 5.5 minutes in. I don't know how many of those are dangerous, though. It just didn't feel like the Jets were really controlling things or threatening to get much closer. We Want Connor chants were started as soon as Comrie went in. They were chanting and mocking Connor. And I've mentioned this for other games. I'll mention it again here. I generally don't put up on the board when they're, doing the goalie mockery because it happens in every building now to every goaltender. And I put right here, this has 2011 Stanley Cup Final vibes. Absolutely does. That mockery of the goaltender, Boston in 2011 with Luongo. Luongo, good at home. The Canucks, they were all close games at home. Then they'd go to Boston and they'd get destroyed. And so it does feel a lot like that. And of course, Luongo, a very respected goaltender at the time. So was Tim Thomas. That was considered a great matchup in net. And here we got Hellebuck and Binnington, the goalies from Four Nations, who have also, Vezina Trophy for Hellebuck last year, likely this year too, and Binnington with a Stanley Cup ring from 2019. So there's definitely some comparisons to be made for the 2011 final and this series and what we've seen so far. Snuggerud has a slap shot that's saved. Barron then has a sharp angle shot that deflects out. Broberg with a net drive that's blocked. The Blues press with 9 minutes left. Toropchenko has a fast break chance that's denied. The Jets press with 5 minutes left, just trying to get any kind of positive out of this game, I would think. Tucker gets shaken up. Looked like a leg injury. He needed help exiting the ice. We'll see whether or not he's good to go for the next game. It is playoffs. You never know. Guys get hurt, but if they're able to come back and play, they usually will. In situations where during the regular season they might need time off. Misconducts are handed out with 2:13 left. The fans in St. Louis there wanted a call on the Winnipeg player. There's no power play out of that. Then everything gets punchy with 1 minute and 32 seconds left. And the Blues come out of that with a power play. So the Blues didn't use their top power play guys because they didn't need a goal. And you don't want to be in a situation either where you got star players on the ice. The games got kind of ugly. You don't want your star players to be in a position where maybe they take the kind of hits that we see every now and then in the playoffs from a team that's frustrated. But the Blues not frustrated. They have tied the series at 2. They win this one 5-1. Now the series flips back to Winnipeg. Pressure's on Winnipeg. The home team has won all 4 games so far in this series. Can the Blues get that win on the road in Game 5 and look to close this out in 6? We'll find out. Shots on net were 12-5 for Winnipeg in the first, 12-11 St. Louis in the second, 8-6 Winnipeg in the third. The Jets outshoot them 31-23. Does not tell you how this game went. Power plays, the Jets 0 for 2, St. Louis 0 for 3. The hits, 39 apiece. Hellebuck saves 13 out of 18. His save percentage on the road over the last couple of seasons is not great. It is going to be a talking point between now and Game 5, and it's right that it should be. So tomorrow, since there's only a couple of games on, and it's Monday, I don't have to watch hockey all day. I may very well talk about some numbers from these playoffs. We could talk about Hellebuck and the tough time he's had. Comrie did save all 5 shots in relief. Do you do the crazy? So looking back to 2011, and I'll also say it, Binnington had 30 saves on 31 shots, looked really good. Going back to 2011 as an example, the Vancouver Canucks for Game 6, there was the debate about whether or not you start Corey Schneider. I think maybe there could be a debate. I'm not saying there will be, but could be a debate. Do you do something crazy and start Comrie in Game 6? You can go right back to Hellebuck at home because his numbers at home have been good. But when you get to that Game 6 in St. Louis, do you go with Comrie? Because what St. Louis has shown in 2 games at home is 12 goals. They're able to just score at will on the Winnipeg Jets and Connor Hellebuck, and they've won 14 in a row at home now, dating back to the regular season. So something has to change for Winnipeg, and that's just it, whether you win or lose Game 5. going into Game 6 in St. Louis, I would think they have to change something. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What changes would you make if you were in charge of the Jets looking at the next game? Hit like and subscribe if you've not done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.